Hi, this is another video from SQL Server 2014 tutorial.com. Today we are going to be looking at how to work with SQL Server Agent, which is an important component of SQL 2014. So what exactly is SQL Server Agent? Well, this is, like I mentioned, an important component of SQL 2014. This is when you can, do automation and schedule tasks and jobs and whatnot. Underlying the hood, basically, it is going to be a Microsoft Windows service. This is used for automating scheduled DBA tasks. So one of the common tasks could be to back up a database, maybe run index rebuild or reorganize, or any kind of maintenance jobs that you can think of. SQL Server Agent is able to handle that. So it's a very vital component of SQL Server. This also works in conjunction with MSDB database, which is, if you don't know, is going to be one of the system databases in SQL Server. Now, what is SQL Server Agent composed of? Well, it is going to include jobs, alerts, operators, and a few other things, but we are going to really highlight some of the important components in this video. Now, before we go into the components, let's show you a quick demo on how to stop the agent in case you are having issues. So for this, you're going to go into SQL Server Configuration Manager. This is one of the components that comes with SQL Server. If you want to know more, we do actually have a separate video in our channel on this, so feel free to check it out. But in here we have a lot of things. We have the native client configuration, the network configuration, but the one we're going to look at is going to be SQL Server Services. Okay. And this is actually my local instance. Today we're going to be working with a lab server, but here, if I can show you, I am running, this is a SQL Server instance which is on 2014, and I believe this is on 2012. And now if you look at essentially agent, which is this one, you'll notice that this is actually stopped. So we're going to go ahead and start this, which is, we're going to right click on this and going to click start. So that should go ahead and start the SQL Server Agent. Okay, so I wanted to highlight that real quickly before we go into further topics, but let me move on to the important components that we talked about. Okay, so SQL Server Agent comprises of jobs. Think of a SQL job as containing one or more tasks, which are going to be called job steps. A SQL Server Agent does also contain schedules, which is going to be something that runs, on a, let's say, a recurring basis, maybe once a week, once an hour, depending on your situation. You could also schedule something to run just, once, once in a while kind of thing. So it doesn't need to be a schedule. It could be a one-time event. Now, another important concept is the concept of alerts and events, and we'll show you that in a minute. But think of an event when something really happens with SQL Server. So the example we have is that the transaction log, which is also known as T log, let's say that gets full. Okay, so you have to take care of that. And related to that, you could possibly get an alert, which is basically, it's a response that, hey, your log is full. And so what you could possibly do related to alert is kick off the job, which is to back up the T log. Okay, so those are very important to understand. We will look at those in a minute. And then obviously you have operators. An operator can be an individual or a group that can be basically notified by SQL Server using database mail. Database mail is another component of SQL Server that handles basically the delivery of messaging and email to a person or more than one person. We also actually have a video on database mail on our channel, so definitely go check that out. Speaking of our channel, let me just show you this real quick in case you are watching this on YouTube, but you may not be aware of our channel. So it's youtube.com/BAGHUL. If you go to this channel, that's me, but there should be quite a few videos on here that are related to SQL Server and whatnot. So definitely feel free to check that out. But so for now, what we're going to do is I'm going to switch to my management studio. This is the server I was talking about. This is LabDB01. I'm logged in as a SQL account. And what I wanted to show you first is that we do have the Northwind sample database. This is a old database with lots of sample data, and it's an easy database to work with. So I tend to use this a lot in my demos. But regardless, in order to work with the agent, we need to come down here where it says SQL Server Agent, and I'm going to expand this. And so we have the jobs. We'll look at the job activity monitor in a bit, but here are the alerts, operators. Proxies basically are going to be a specific account that you create for SQL Agent. You can assign an account to that, and then the job or the process can run under that proxy. We're not going to look at that. And then you have error logs, which are basically SQL Server logs, where you can look at information to see what is going on, or what if there are any issues that need to be taken care of. Okay, so we're not going to focus on those. We are really focusing more on the jobs, alerts, and operators. Before I show you a sample job, let me just show you the alerts. So if I were to go into the alert, I could create a new alert, and I just have an example here of an error 9002 with a link here. This has to do with when your log is full. But anyway, so you can create an alert. You could say T log is full. You can give it a name, and then you can create three kinds of alerts. It can be based on an event. For example, the log is full. It could be a counter for maybe your CPU is running above 90% or something like that, and this is WMI event. So you can choose any of these. I'm going to just create one, or just show you here. And then the error number, like I said, is going to be 9002. So let's type that in there. And then, by the way, you can also base the alert on a severity. Severity is going to be different levels. If it's something like between 19 and 25, those are considered extreme errors, but for now it's going to be error 9002. So in response to an alert, you can either notify an operator or you can execute a job. For now, we're not going to do any of those. I'm just simply wanted to show you how to create an alert. And so now I just did that, and now we have an alert called tlog is full. Operator, I'm going to come back in a little bit, but really the main part of this demo is going to be to show you how to create a job. So let's expand the job part, and let's move forward to the last part, which is really what is the demo on our agent. Well, here's a scenario. We have a new supplier list that we receive every night. This is going to be a text file, so it's a .txt file, and this needs to be really loaded into SQL Server at midnight. It needs to happen every night. How are we going to achieve this? Well, there are several ways you can do this, but what I've decided to show you today is to create a SSIS package, which we've already done, and then I'm going to create a SQL Server job that will execute this package. And I'm also going to create a schedule so that this runs every night at midnight. This way you don't have to worry about that. The data load, it will just happen automatically. And then what we can do is we will notify the operator about this. You have many options. You can notify when a job completes, or if it fails, you can also do other steps. So that is our scenario that we're going to work with. So let me come here, and I'm going to, for jobs, you just right click. Easiest way to do this is right click and then say new job. Okay. So let me just call this load supplier data. You can just kind of give it a name. There are some other things. The owner, right now it's me. Typically you want this to be SA. Okay. And then you can add some description, but we're trying to basically stay on track here and not spend too much time. So the step is really where you're going to have one or more steps, okay, to to execute the job. So obviously in our case we have to run an SSIS package. So I'm going to click on new, and I'm going to say we'll call it run SSIS package. SSIS package, in case you don't know, is SQL Server Integration Services, which is a separate component. We also have some videos on that particular topic, so definitely check that out. The type of the job is going to be let's find this one. It says SQL Server Integration Services package, and you can run this under many accounts, but we have chosen to run this as a SQL Server Agent service account. Okay, and then as far as logging into the server or logging into the package, this package resides on a file, which means it resides on a local drive. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to let me just do this. I'm going to find the network location. What I've done here, in case you're wondering, is this is the server, and here's the location: C drive temp SSIS folder, and the package we are going to be using is this one. It's called package new suppliers.dtsx. So I'm going to use that particular one. So I just wanted to make sure